Welcome to Broadway Dispatch, today's news with a historical twist, September 27th, 2019. Judy, starring Oscar winner Renee Zellweger as Judy Garland, debuts in theaters today. Based on the Tony and Olivia Award-nominated stage play End of the Rainbow, the movie centers on the final year in Garland's life. End of the Rainbow opened on Broadway at the Belasco Theater on April 2, 2012, with Tracy Bennett as Garland. The show ran 176 performances on Broadway. And yesterday, in more Judy news, at the Paper Mill Playhouse in New Jersey, it was the first day of performances of Chasing Rainbows, The Road to Oz, another Judy Garland bio-musical, this time about the beginning of Judy's life before she burst onto the big screen as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. So two big showbiz openings this week, all about Judy, one about the beginning of her career and the other about the end of her career. The Broadway connection to Garland is even more interesting due to the fact that she never starred in a book show or play on Broadway, and her films based on Broadway shows are only from the earliest part of her career. Judy starred in Babes in Arms from 1939, the film version of the 1937 Broadway musical of the same name. Along with Margaret Hamilton, filming of Babes in Arms began in May of 1939, soon after both Garland and Hamilton had finished The Wizard of Oz. Then in 1940, she starred in the Gershwins' Strike Up the Band. Plus in 1940, Little Nellie Kelly, based on the stage musical of the same title by George M. Cohan. 10 years later, she starred in the unfinished Annie Get Your Gun and was replaced by Betty Hutton. In 1966, Jerry Herman tried to cast Judy Garland in Mame on Broadway, and it's been reported that he wrote the show's tunes with her in mind. In the end, no one thought she could handle the stress of 8 shows a week on Broadway. Of course, tragically, she would be found dead only 3 years later in 1969. So we have a movie and stage show opening 50 years after Judy's death. So I started to think about 1969, and if you went back 50 years, you would get to 1919. And the stars that are now 100 years dead, do we still remember them? Perhaps the best example is Anna Held, who died in August 1918. She was a big-time Broadway stage performer, born in Warsaw, Poland. She started her career with stints in theaters in Paris and London, but is most often associated with Ziegfeld in America. And then there is Jenny Lind, who died in 1887. Called the Swedish Nightingale, one of the most highly regarded singers of the 19th century, she undertook a tour in the United States in 1850 at the invitation of showman P.T. Barnum. Her life is shown in the movie The Greatest Showman, which starred Hugh Jackman. The love interest in this film, as is often the case for Hollywood musical biopics, is a pure work of fiction. In real life, there was never a romance between Lynn and Barnum. So let's hope that 50 years from now, somebody will again write a show or movie about the wonderful Miss Judy Garland. Thank you for listening today. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss future videos. Finally, go see a show or perform in a show or write a show of your own.